Hey guys! So, what could be more exciting than discovering something that has been encased in ice for centuries, or even millennia? Frozen finds are like cryo-capsules that unveil the remarkable history of the past. Nature's magical cryo-capsule has an astonishing ability to preserve antiquities, and if we dig into this frozen world, we can uncover something truly astounding. In today's video, I'll tell you about the most unusual discoveries in ice that are truly amazing. So, the planet's icy expanses, particularly the permafrost, grant us access to a frozen archive of biological history, preserving organisms that have long disappeared from the world. In this frozen repository, scientists have unearthed ancient viruses, some of which are older than all of humanity. These prehistoric viruses, preserved in ice for thousands and even millions of years, do not resemble any viruses existing today. Thus, scientists got a unique opportunity to study the evolution of viruses and potentially gain valuable insights into how they interacted with their hosts. For instance, in 2014, French researchers revived a 30,000-year-old virus called zombie. This giant virus, found in the Siberian wilderness, surpasses all modern viruses in size and remains active against amoebas. While it is relatively harmless to humans, this discovery emphasizes that frozen viruses have the potential for activity. They might suddenly return to the modern world, especially if the climate continues to change and glaciers continue to melt. In other words, frozen viruses aren't just remnants of our planet's past. They are potential participants in its future, posing challenges to both human health and scientific research. On the white plains of the Arctic, beneath layers of ice and snow, lies an ecosystem that once thrived. This discovery was made on Ellesmere Island in Canada, where the remains of a petrified forest were found beneath the ice. These ancient tree trunks and leaves belong to a forest that grew here 3 to 5 million years ago, during a time when the Arctic was much warmer than it is today. The forest consisted of extensive mosses and various types of flora typical of a warmer climate. This forest is like a window into the past, when the Arctic was a lush green plain. Deep beneath the ice of Antarctica lies a hidden treasure that has remained untouched for millions of years. Lake Vostok, buried under approximately 4 kilometers of ice. This is one of the largest subglacial lakes on the planet. The discovery of this lake in the 1990s was an important milestone. It is one of the coldest places on Earth. The lake doesn't freeze due to the pressure of the ice above it and the heat supplied by the Earth's core. This lake has remained a sealed reservoir for 15 to 25 million years, and its contents are akin to nature from another planet. It would be a prime target for scientists worldwide if they had the opportunity to explore it fully. If there were living organisms in the lake, they would have to adapt to an extremely cold environment, complete darkness, and immense pressure. It bears a striking resemblance to extraterrestrial environments, such as the icy moons of Jupiter and Saturn. Lake Vostok isn't just an icebound mystery. It's a potential guide to our research on life on and beneath the Earth. The ill-fated expedition led by Sir John Franklin in 1845, aimed at conquering the Arctic, marked the explorers' 4th and most unfortunate attempt. The expedition's goal was to chart the Northwest Passage through the Arctic Ocean. The expedition ended tragically. Both of the sailing ships, the Erebus and the Terror, got trapped in the Arctic ice. The entire crew of 129 people vanished along with the ships, leaving us with one of the most mystical mysteries in the history of maritime exploration. Over a century and a half later, in 2014 and 2016, the wreckage of both ships was discovered in the Canadian Arctic waters. Both were remarkably well preserved, with pieces of equipment and artifacts literally frozen in time. What remained of the ships vividly tells the story of the ship's final moments and the challenges they had to face. Part of the historical puzzle was solved, but many questions remain unanswered. Climate change is leading to the widespread melting of ancient glaciers, allowing scientists to glimpse back thousands of years. On September 19, 1991, in the Tyrrhene Alps at the border between Italy and Austria, after an exceptional ice melt on a glacier at an altitude of 10,500 feet, a group of mountaineers discovered the body of an ancient human who lived about 5,300 years ago. You have to agree, that's a rather unusual find for tourists. This is the oldest mummy found in Europe. He was named Otzi after the location, Ötztal Alps. Thanks to the ice, his body and clothing were remarkably well preserved. This surprisingly preserved mummy of a warrior sheds light on numerous mysteries. Everything about him could be determined: his diet, health status, occupation, and even the cause and circumstances of his death. Tattoos on his body are the earliest in human history. Leather pants and shoes were also found, likely belonging to the aforementioned warrior, along with hundreds of other objects dating back to around 4500 BC. In early 2003, a birch bark quiver for arrows dating back to 3000 BC was discovered on a trail in the Bernese Alps at an elevation of 2,756 meters above sea level. Organic materials such as skin, wood, bark, and textiles degrade in the ground due to erosion, but they remain intact in ice. This is a female mammoth that died approximately 42,000 years ago, at around 1 month of age. The body's dimensions are comparable to a large dog, 90 centimeters in height and 130 centimeters in length, with a weight of 30 kilograms. She was nicknamed Lyuba. The frozen mammoth calf was found in the upper course of the Urbri River in 2007. The find was astonishingly well preserved, with all body parts intact, including the trunk and even the skin. The mammoth isn't the only guest from ancient times that modern archaeologists have uncovered. They've also managed to unearth a bear from the Ice Age. This discovery was made in the Russian Arctic, on one of the Lyakovsky Islands. Melting ice aided in the find. Based on its intact teeth and well-preserved nose, researchers determined that this bear belonged to one of the species of brown bear that lived 22,000 to 39,500 years ago. Another grand thaw took place in the snowy deserts of eastern Siberia. In 2015, local hunters discovered another ancient monster, a woolly rhinoceros. Its age exceeded 30,000 years. The woolly rhinoceros was an extinct species from the Ice Age that adapted to survival in the cold thanks to its thick, long fur and 2 horns on its snout. It was a formidable beast of its time. The nearly completely preserved rhino was the best preserved specimen of its kind ever found. The analysis of the animal's DNA helped advance our understanding of the genetics of the woolly rhinoceros species and established its relationship with modern species. In the Andes, on top of the Huayllaco volcano, which divides Argentina and Chile, something amazing was discovered in 1999. 3 Inca mummies were found, including a young girl named La Doncella and 2 other children. These mummies had been frozen in ice for at least 500 years and were in an exceptional state of preservation. Even frozen blood was found in one of the hearts. The girl was around 13 to 15 years old at the time of her death. Her clothing, jewelry, and personal items were completely preserved. This, clearly, wasn't an accidental or regular burial. It was a cruel sacrifice in the brutal rituals of the Incas. The wood frog, which inhabits Alaska, has always puzzled biologists due to its ability to survive while being completely frozen. During the cold winter, when the temperature is consistently below zero, these frogs enter a state of suspended animation. Their hearts stop beating, and they can survive in this state for weeks. When the temperature rises, the frog thaws, its heartbeat resumes, and it hops around as if nothing happened. This unique ability allows the wood frog to survive some of the harshest winters on the planet. It happens due to the high concentration of glucose in its organs and tissues, It acts as a natural antifreeze that saves the frog's body from damage and death. Scientists are closely observing this species. It might provide new insights into technologies for organ preservation for transplantation. A seemingly ordinary frog from Alaska may well bring humanity closer to revolutionary discoveries in the field of medicine. Alaska is the true treasure trove of unique ice caves, and one of the most interesting of them is located within the Mendenhall Glacier. The cave is situated near the town of Juneau, which started attracting gold prospectors back in the late 19th century. The massive glacier was discovered by explorers over 100 years ago, but the enormous cave hidden beneath it was only recently uncovered. It's astonishing in its scale, as some of the passages within the Mendenhall cave extend for several hundred meters. Particularly beautiful and intriguing are the chambers of the cave, located close to the surface. They are covered by a relatively thin layer of ice through which sunlight penetrates during the daytime, illuminating the chambers with a stunning glow. The Mendenhall Glacier, from which the cave derives its name, also boasts an impressive length of about 12 kilometers. Currently, the glacier and its surrounding area are part of the Tongass National Forest. Most of the chambers of the Mendenhall Cave are situated at a depth of over 120 meters. Entry is possible through a small opening, which was formed due to the natural melting of the glacier. According to contemporary researchers, the network of ice caves started forming relatively recently, in the mid-20th century. During this period, the glacier started melting due to climate changes. In 1958, the rate of melting was so significant that the glacier receded by 3 kilometers. The ice layers continued to melt, causing the structure of the caves to change constantly. In recent years, the Mendenhall Cave has been open to tourists. Special equipment is required to explore the remarkable attractions within one of the world's most beautiful ice caves. Well, that's all for today, friends. Please like the video if you found it interesting. Let me know what you learned in the comments, and we'll see you next time.